All right, everyone, video number 2. We're going to do a whole lot more shooting, a whole lot less talking. So basically going to sight this in, and I'm just going to move my camera around. You can get multiple perspectives of how fast the bolt gets to the target, what the bow sounds like when it goes off. We're going to get started with the stock Killer Instinct HYPR bolts. Those are about 400 grains. We're then also going to shoot some Sirius Phoenix bolts, so you guys can both see and hear the difference between a 400 grain bolt as well as a heavier 500 plus grain bolt out of this bow. And we're going to shoot some lighted nocks, so stay tuned. Well, that was easy. 2 shots and we're on at 20. I'm going to set my phone now down by the target so you guys can hear and see how fast the bolt gets there at 20 yards. Again, this is the stock Killer Instinct HYPR bolt. All right, we're going to skip 30 yards. I'm running out of daylight a little bit, so we're going to go to 40. All right, guys, so with the HYPR bolts, like I said, those were really close to 400 grains. They were just shy of 400 grains. Those are the stock bolts that come with the bow. I had the speed ring set right at 405, and the 40-yard dot on the reticle was right on. So if you take this as a measure of speed, which I am for this video, I don't have a chronograph. This bow is shooting right where it's supposed to be. So now we're gonna move to the Sirius Phoenix bolts. These are the ones that I hunted with last year. And I'll put them on the scale here for you just so we can see exactly how heavy they are. And we're gonna shoot the same 40-yard distance. All right, here's the Sirius Phoenix bolt on the scale. This is including a 150 grain point, and the insert that's in here is 110 grains. So this one's actually coming out to 543 grains. All right, so here's where I hit with that 22-inch Phoenix bolt. So we're probably, I don't know, 3.5 inches low. So I'll start tweaking the speed ring. We'll use that again as a gauge for speed, and I'll let you know how fast the bow is shooting with this 543 grain bolt. All right, I went ahead and threw that SWAT HYPR bolt back on the scale just so you guys could see this again. So measuring that at 393 grains, and that one again was right at about 405 feet per second on the speed ring of the scope. I got the Sirius Phoenix sighted in. I did not touch the windage or the elevation. All I did was adjust the speed ring, and now we've got the speed ring set at a 350. So the 393 grain bolt running right at that 405 feet per second mark. The 543 grain bolt running about 350 feet per second. So if you're into heavy arrows like I am, you know, we reduced our speed by 55 feet per second, but we gained 150 grains in weight. So one thing to note, this cam system, you know, this is the first time I've shot a heavier bolt out of it. The other day, all I shot were the HYPR bolts. I don't know what you guys could hear on the video, but as far as sound goes, I couldn't tell. Sound-wise, I could not tell a difference. And the reduction in vibration shooting the heavier bolt was minimal. So that is a huge testament to this cam system, because on my SWAT XP, when I switched to this Sirius Phoenix, this heavier bolt, I could definitely hear and feel a difference. So on the X1, I couldn't tell a difference sound-wise, and a very, very slight reduction vibration-wise. All right, here's a 20-inch bolt loaded into the bow. This is the Killer Instinct HYPR bolt that comes with the bow. It is loaded. The safety is on while we're doing this here. So I just want you guys to take notice of how far the bolt protrudes beyond the barrel. It is completely contained within the riser. So when you've got your broadhead on here, you know, if you shoot a 20-inch bolt, you really don't have to worry about your broadhead whacking things while you're walking into the woods, or if you shoot a mechanical, having your blades come loose just because you're walking through some brush or whatever. So that is definitely an added benefit of shooting the 20-inch bolt, having it contained within the riser. Now, if we put the 22-inch Sirius Phoenix on, so note that the 22-inch bolt will protrude farther than your riser and even the limb blocks if you decide to keep those on with your bow. So it's going to stick out a little bit more if you're worried about your broadhead running into stuff or your mechanical blades coming loose when you're walking to your stand or whatever. Then I would stick with a 20-inch bolt. The benefit to shooting a 22-inch bolt is when you get it outside of this, the riser area, if you shoot a bigger cutting diameter fixed blade, you might have a little bit more room. I mean, there's plenty of real estate in here, but depending on what you shoot, this might be something that you want just to get some extra room for those wider fixed blades. All right, now that the sun's setting here, I'm going to throw a lighted nock back on the SWAT HYPR bolt. That nock pulled out nice and easy. It was really easy to install this lighted nock. This lighted nock is nothing fancy. I'm a big fan of these Amazon. They're just cheap. They're kind of like nocturnal knockoff nocks. They're like 12 bucks for 6 of them. So we're going to shoot that. Still got my target at 40, and then I'm basically going to scooch my target as far back as we can get. So maybe a little different point of impact with the lighted nock, but not much. Shot out of the bow just fine. All right, can you guys see it way out there? That is 70 yards. So just a note, I would never shoot at a deer this far with a crossbow. That's just me personally. I'm a 40 yards and in guy crossbow, 30 yards and in guy compound bow, but it's definitely fun to let these things rip at some long range targets. So we're gonna shoot the same lighted nock out of that HYPR bolt and see how it does out there at 70 yards. All right, guys, I don't think I can do a whole lot better than that. I can barely see the target. I should just say I can barely see the bullseye with the illuminated reticle on it. I mean, it takes up pretty much that entire center ring. I mean, check that out. At 70 yards, I mean, my reticle, my illuminated dot is taking up all of this. And I am by no means the best shot with a crossbow. But for me to shoot that at 70 yards, that is pretty freaking awesome. All right, guys, we are out of daylight, so we're going to wrap it up here in the barn. I just wanted to say a couple closing things. First, accuracy. I mean, phenomenal. It only took me a couple shots with this bow to get it sighted in at 20, a couple at 40, turned the speed ring down a couple of times, got a heavier bolt zeroed in super easy, turned the speed ring back and just winged one at 70 yards. And for it to basically hit in a softball, I mean, that is phenomenal. And I am by no means a sniper with a crossbow. This bow can probably shoot better than my capabilities. But for me to do all of that as easy as I did it, the accuracy is phenomenal. And honestly, the biggest takeaway, the thing that I am most surprised about and that I am most excited about is the XCam system. And the fact that it was smooth as butter regardless of whether I shot a light bolt or a heavy bolt. So of all the bows that I've shot, and I've shot quite a few, I mean, my XP, my Ripper, my PSE bow that I still have that my wife shoots, my buddy's bows, I mean, they've got 10 points, they've got older KI bows, they've got all kinds of stuff. And not a single one of those bows shot the same with a light bolt and a heavy bolt They had a way bigger reduction in sound and vibration when we loaded them with a heavy bolt. This one, I mean, very minimal vibration reduction with the heavy bolt, and I could not tell a sound difference. So that to me, I mean, that is, I guess I was kind of shocked, and that is a huge testament to the XCAM system and just how efficient, just how smooth it operates. I mean, it's easy to draw, but honestly, I'm shocked at how smooth it shot with both a heavy bolt and a light bolt. So you guys, the XCAM system, this bow is the real deal. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and that subscribe button for me. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, be a sportsman, make a sportsman.